Hi, this is Peter Gallagher from LousyWriter.com. It is my pleasure to host another tutorial on writing in Chicago style. In this session, you will learn how to create a bibliography in Chicago style. To see examples and for additional writing advice in relation to this tutorial, please visit our website, LousyWriter.com, and download our free ebook entitled Writing Styles for College Students. With Chicago Style, the bibliography page is where you list all of the sources you used to create your paper. You need to follow a variety of formatting rules when listing the sources. The type of source that you are listing determines the formatting configuration that you'll use, but there are a few formatting rules that work for every listing. The first is alphabetizing. When creating the alphabetical list of the bibliography, sort the list of sources based on the last name of the author. When sorting the list, ignore any spaces in the last name. If you have more than one source from an author, sort them by either the dates in which they were created or by placing the titles of the sources in alphabetical order. Just be certain that once you have chosen a sorting preference for multiple sources from one author, you stick with it. Next are authors. List the author's last name, followed by the first name and middle name if the author commonly uses it. If you have more than one author for a source, list each one individually. The first author should be listed by last name, then first name. Subsequent authors should be listed by first name, then last name. When listing more than one author, separate them by commas with the word "and" (and) ahead of the final author in the list. Next is capitalization. Use headline-style capitalization with all titles in your bibliography. Next is indentation. After the first line of each source, indent each subsequent line about 1/2 inch, creating a hanging indentation for each source. Spacing. You may single space each entry in the bibliography, leaving a blank space between entries. Here are some examples for listing various sources in Chicago style. The first listing is for articles. When using a newspaper or magazine as a source, list the author, title of the article in quotations, name of the periodical in italics, date of publication, and page numbers used. A journal article requires slightly different formatting. Be sure to include the issue number and the issue date ahead of the page numbers. Next, we have books. Include the author's name, the book title, which is italicized, the publisher's location and name, and the date of publication. Do not use the page numbers used as a source in the bibliography. Next, we have a government document. Because such a document usually doesn't include an author, you can list the governmental division in the alphabetical list and italicize the title. If you need to cite an internet site in your bibliography page, list the author's name if known, title of the online article or web page in quotations, the name of the website, date of publication if known, the internet address, and date of retrieval, which you include in parentheses. Next, we have a scholarly work. If using a thesis or dissertation as a source, list the author's name, the title in quotations, the type of paper, the educational institution, and the year of publication. You may face some odd situations when creating your bibliography page. Sometimes you'll have the same author and multiple sources. If you end up with several sources from the same author, you may skip repeating the author's name. Instead, use a solid horizontal line to replace the author's name. The horizontal line should be noticeably longer than the hanging indentation of the source, probably 3/4 inch to 1 inch in length. If you have an additional source that lists multiple authors, you will have to enter the original author's name again. The only time you may use the horizontal line is when all of the authors are the same as the previous work in the list. Finally, for additional information on formatting sources in a reference list, look at either the Chicago Manual of Style or Turabian's A Manual for Writers. Both books cover a large number of situations for listing sources within a bibliography. The website is chicagomanualofstyle.org, and it contains a large number of helpful resources. To see examples and for additional writing advice in relation to this tutorial, please visit our website, lousywriter.com, and download our free ebook entitled Writing Styles for College Students.